This video will cover these topics to hopefully answer the question, how did Neo stop the Sentinels? This is absolutely one of the biggest unanswered questions within the Matrix franchise. Some people even suggest that Neo stopping Sentinels proves that the supposed real world is simply another Matrix. However, this is not the case for many reasons that I'll cover in a future video. But for now, let's dive in to how did Neo stop Sentinels. This little timeline will really help explain how Neo destroyed the Sentinels, so bear with me and let's go through it. Sentinels are first seen in the human versus machine war in the early 21st century. The Matrix is created to enslave the human race. Some humans are freed as red pills but still must survive the harsh real world, involving evading Sentinels. Trinity explains that EMP is the only weapon they have to disable Sentinels, as seen at the end of Matrix 1. The Keymaker uses a special key to transport Neo to the Architect's room. Neo becomes the first ever one to reject the Architect's offer of saving the human race, and instead chooses love and saves Trinity. He leaves the Architect's room, but by choosing a different door to the 5 previous ones before him. This will become relevant later. Some Sentinels approach and Neo disables them. He faints. Neo wakes up in Mobile Avenue, the middle ground between the Matrix and the Machine City. Smith assimilates a red pill and enters the real world. He blinds Neo, allowing Neo to see golden light. Neo and Trinity approach the Machine City. Neo destroys thousands more Sentinels, seemingly with his mind. Neo enters the Machine City, still seeing the golden light. We see that he is surrounded by this golden light even after he dies. So how can Neo destroy Sentinels in the real world? The short answer, Wi-Fi. The long answer, the source is basically a private Wi-Fi network that every machine and some programs are connected to. Neo became wirelessly connected to the source in a way that no previous one had been before him, which then gave him the power to destroy machines that were also wirelessly connected to the source. Let me explain. So could Neo always stop Sentinels? No, Neo was not always connected to the source. Remember that in the era that the Matrix movies are set in, all humans are now created in test tubes by the machines. As Morpheus says, humans are no longer born, we are grown. Realistically, this means that the machines can put anything they want into a human body when it's a mere fetus. I mean, look at the body plugs. Machines already put these little metal holes inside human babies. These metal holes stay inside the human body for its whole life. This means that the machines can install whatever hardware and software they want into a human body. They've already somehow altered human biology so much that pushing metal rods inside someone's actual brain will send their mind to a virtual dream world. When the machines are growing babies, they don't know who will become the one in that cycle. This is why the agents send Neo on his way in the Matrix 1. At that point, their main target is still Morpheus. The machines know that the one will need to connect to the source eventually, but they don't know who the one will be. They just have these billions of human babies in fields and they don't know who it's going to be. Therefore, when they're growing human babies, they need to give every baby the potential to connect to the source, but just leave that technology dormant for 99.9% of humans. When did Neo become connected to the source? At the end of Matrix Reloaded, the Keymaker and crew successfully managed to get Neo through this secret door and into the Architect's room. This involves a connection to the source, as the Keymaker says. These doors lead to many places, hidden places, but one door is special. One door leads to the source. So here's a question. Did you ever realize how long Neo and the Architect are talking? Remember that at this very moment, Trinity is falling and nearly dying. And Neo knows this, and yet he doesn't rush, and the Architect doesn't rush him either. He simply takes his time to speak with the Architect. The reason for this, and further evidence of the power of the source, is that this room is separate from the Matrix and follows different rules. One of these rules is the perception of time. We have seen the machines alter a human's perception of time in another situation, this being the Goliath Matrix comic about machines condensing years worth of military training into a few minutes of a human's mind to save Earth from an alien attack. And no, you did not mishear me, there is an actual Matrix comic about aliens. Tap in the top right corner now to find out about the Matrix comic. So, in the Architect's room, the Architect has suddenly activated Neo's connection to the source so that they can converse in this special room with as much time as Neo needs to make his choice. Remember, the architect's entire plan needs Neo to make a choice. He can't force Neo to do anything. That's the whole point in this scene. We then see a few things that show how Neo's mind is now a little different. So one of them is that after Neo enters the architect's room and then he's back into the real world, he somehow knows what the Sentinels are going to do. So on that little scanner thing, we see a Sentinel pick up a bomb and chuck it towards the ship. Nobody else noticed that, only Neo. The other sign is at the end of The Matrix Reloaded, Neo says, "Something's different, I can feel them." And lastly, at the beginning of The Matrix Revolutions, we learn that Neo's mind was actually separated from his real-world body. Now this of course can't happen if he's not plugged into the Matrix, so his mind must have been plugged into something else, that being the Source. These clues are confirmed when Neo speaks to the Oracle in The Matrix Revolutions. The Oracle says, "The power of the One extends beyond this world. It reaches from here all the way back to where it came from. The Source. That's what you felt when you touched those Sentinels." So what else is connected to the Source? This Source, the mysterious Wi-Fi network that Sentinels and real-world machines are all connected to, is what the yellow golden light symbolizes. Even Seraph in The Matrix Reloaded, Neo sees Seraph and says, "Oh, I think he's a program from the machine world, you must be too," i.e. the Oracle has this golden yellow light as well. All of this golden yellow light that Neo sees in the Machine City and the Sentinels and all around everywhere is the Source. It's the Wi-Fi network that Neo is connected to, and it's what the Sentinels were connected to and what allowed Neo to simply decide that the Sentinels should be stopped. Could the previous ones stop Sentinels? So just like Neo and every other human body, all of the previous ones had the hardware installed to potentially connect to the Source when they're ready, i.e. when they approach the Architect's room. However, all the 5 previous ones chose to continue the cycle and enslave the human race, which meant that they chose the door on the right, the door that Neo didn't choose. This door on the right simply sent the One to begin the cycle again by choosing males and females to restart the population of Zion. At that point, the Sentinels and machines would have finished destroying Zion and stop attacking. The Sentinels and all the drilling machines would have gone back home to the Machine City. Remember that the machines need to allow humans to rebuild Zion for the cycle to happen again and again and again. So whilst we technically don't know if the previous ones could connect to the Source at will, like what Neo can, it doesn't even matter, because they wouldn't have needed to. The Sentinels would have gone by this point. Thank you for watching that, everybody. If it was a help to you and you really liked learning about the Matrix lore, then please subscribe to Jam Punch and I'll be releasing a brand new Matrix Explained video every single week. My name is George, this is Jam Punch, and I'll see you next time.